How's it going, everybody? Stoner14 here, and welcome back to another Nostalgia Critic reaction. I'm going to be starting by getting caught up on the next episode of Nostalgia Critic's review. This review of one of the great comedies and great parodies of Star Wars, Spaceballs. Now, Spaceballs, I think, is a very funny movie, and I'm very excited to see what he and, I know he's collabing with another person, Hats Off Entertainment. I'm curious to see what they both think of it. Now, we better strap our butts because this is a whopping 40-minute video, so... But, again, I'm excited for this. I'm glad there's a bunch to talk about and a bunch of jokes to talk about. So, as for what I think about Spaceballs, again, honestly, compared to a lot of parody movies, I do think it's definitely one of the better ones, for sure. Because, like, this movie doesn't just make fun of just, like, any joke. It's a parody of an entire series, like specific movies of Star Wars. But yeah, I do like Star Wars a lot. I do love Spaceballs. So again, I'm glad to see what... I don't know, I'm curious what Doug will think of it. So, without further ado, let's see what we got here. In 3, 2, 1.
This episode brought to you by Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit.
With the announcement of Spaceballs 2, many have speculated what the sequel will generate in current Hollywood. Well, wait no more, for we're announcing the new head of the Spaceballs franchise, Kathleen Kennedy.
Hello.
Oh boy.
As you may be aware, things didn't work out the best when I took over Star Wars. Some even say it bordered on satire. That's why pivoting in this direction seems to make the most sense. I'm happy to announce a lineup of sequels, spin-offs, and miniseries that will unite a fan base in asking, was that necessary? We'll start off with 3 new movies. The first one will basically be a repeat of the first film to show we know what we're doing. The second film will make you ask, do they know what they're doing? As we put a different guy in charge who writes the second act like the third act, and turns out about half a good movie, which makes sense as only about half the fan base will like it.
Damn.
The third film, we go into complete panic mode as we retcon everything in the last film to desperately make you like us. But that's not all. We'll bring you stories about characters you didn't think twice about, like a prequel for Barf starring Jack Black.
Oh no.
And Bartholomew. First we space, then we balls, Schwartz and Steel!
What?
Remember the We Ain't Found Shit guy? He has a movie and a series. And for whatever reason, we'll put a lot of effort into him. Like his movie will have some of the best effects and action sequences, and his series will have some of the best writing the franchise has ever produced. Random. We'll also do a lot more animated series.
What?
I'm not sure who's going to run that, but they'll probably end up taking my job.
What the heck?
We'll also sprinkle in dozens of cameos from your favorite side.
They had an animated series of Spaceballs? I didn't know that, actually. I wonder how that went. My assumption is bad.
Sci-fi co-star, The Uncanny Valley. Whether previous actors are dead, unavailable, or just straight up old, we'll use the best and just off enough technology to make you swear that we should know better. Just check out our de-aged Michael Winslow.
Hello, I am Michael Winslow. Can you believe they are using computers to make me look and sound younger?
You gotta fix the lip syncing.
It is completely seamless. They even replaced my amazing sound effects with computer sound effects.
No.
I was in Police Academy.
We also have a project directed by Patty Jenkins. We'll shoot a teaser with the most epic yet personal buildup of all time, then randomly scrap it. Only to bring it back again, because that shows confidence in what we're promising. And of course, we'll work endlessly to hire the most diverse and memorable cast Hollywood has seen, to be written as the most bland and forgettable characters in the most bland and forgettable situations. But we'll spend obscene amounts of money putting them on sets that look like we just visited Galaxy's Edge for a weekend. So fear not, my friends. The future of Spaceballs is as carefully mapped out as a GPS signal underwater. And if you still have concerns, remember, I come from a background of producing juggernauts like Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis, and Frank Marshall, and they're doing great!
About that. Hit the entire Star Wars franchise series on the head, didn't you? It's such a shame.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to.
All right, Doug.
A sequel is being made. I figure it made sense to talk about what many consider the greatest Star Wars parody ever made. 10 years after Star Wars came out, Spaceballs.
Really, 10 years after Star Wars?
Directed by Mel Brooks in 1987, Spaceballs was, yes, a little too late to the game in terms of Star Wars satires, but much like in Frankenstein, if you got something good, the people will wait. You could argue he was waiting for the Star Wars films to wrap up before he lampooned them, which would mean he'd have to wait several more decades.
Definitely.
This film was an audience success, even if it wasn't a critical success. Yeah, believe it or not, critical reviews were mixed at best, saying there's some good laughs, but was a little too childish, awkward, and didn't come together as a complete whole. Years later, fans said they could stick it up their complete whole as Spaceballs went on to making an okay amount of money to, how did Lone Star put it?
A shitload of money!
The film continues to be one of Brooks' most profitable movies, if not the most profitable.
Really?
Not just because of how much fun it is, but also because it's lampooning one of the biggest moneymakers of all time. So, almost 40 years later, we're gonna look at the staying power this movie seems to have and why some critics at the time just couldn't give in to the Schwartz.
Critic.
Yep.
Critic.
You got another person with you today.
From Hats Off Entertainment.
Oh yeah, I've seen your YouTube channel, links below. Why do you sound so echoey?
Well, I am a Schwartz ghost.
What?
I don't think I want to associate with anything with that name, so I'm just gonna move on.
No,
Yeah.
wait. Sorry, I've never made a physical appearance in a video before.
Zilla, what is that?
Oh, this is just how I look. It's a rare disorder where I'm made up entirely of movie clips.
Oh, I thought you were just editing them together with insightful commentary.
No.
Is it weird that, like, if you ever watched, like, somebody long enough but you've never actually seen their face ever, you ever think this is what they look like? Because honestly, I've actually thought that sometimes as a kid. Like, believe it or not, if any of you know Shoka Conroy, which, again, he still makes amazing videos, and I'm proud to still watch his videos. I'm proud he's still making videos as well. But I always believed that before I saw his... I think it was like... I was almost, like, 18 before I saw what his real face looked like. And I was watching him since I was probably 10, so... Yeah, I always thought this is what he looked like. Or what he would look like in my mind. I don't know, I was a crazy person.
Well, I'm just clips.
Well, now that you're here, I'm assuming you want to do an epic crossover!
No. I mean, what year is it? 2011?
Oh.
But I do like diving into comedy movies from the 80s and 90s, and there is a lot to talk about with Spaceballs, so I figured I'd just chime in every now and again with some interesting detail about this movie and its production.
I'm okay with that. Just turn the other direction. You're freaking me out.
Okay, but you should know that my back is made up of clips from another Mel Brooks movie, Life Stinks.
Ew.
Yeah, I also love highlighting forgotten failures. You want to take a look? It's really not that bad.
No, I'm good. Let's just take a look at
Yeah,
Spaceballs.
I think we'll pass.
Seriously, go stand somewhere else. A major part of almost any Mel Brooks movie is his music, and the theme for Spaceballs is pretty catchy. Clearly a send-up to the Star Wars theme, but good enough to stand on its own. The only thing I don't like are the laser sound effects. It kind of cheapens the score a bit. It's like hearing that beautiful theme from Young Frankenstein, but mixing it in with the monster moaning because they didn't have confidence it was strong enough.
Okay, I can see that, yeah.
Brooks also
He's
said he wants
Frankenstein,
them to
what's
be a
going on?
satire of Star Wars, but also his version of a sci-fi fairy tale.
Oh, sorry, the monster. Because Frankenstein was the name of the doctor, and the monster was just the monster.
Hence why he has the opening scroll, but rather than doing a spin of a long time ago, like many satirists did, he took it back to what the words were originally borrowing from, Once Upon a Time.
Warp.
We open with our villains on the ship Spaceball 1. And while this is obviously a spoof of the Star Destroyer shot that goes on forever, I think one of the reasons it works so well is it's designed to look like every few feet it's narrowing near the end, but then it expands out to reveal more.
Yeah.
Constantly keeping you guessing when it's actually going to stop.
All rise in the presence of Dark Helmet.
Colonel Sanders, played by George Weiner, is the right-hand man of Dark Helmet.
Wait. What's it, Colonel? Oh, yeah. Colonel Sanders.
Actually going to stop.
I forgot about
All
that.
rise in the presence of Dark Helmet.
Colonel Sanders, played by George Weiner, is the right-hand man of Dark Helmet. By the way, my dad never wore that tie despite me getting it for him every Father's Day. And I have to say, I had no idea what this film was when I saw it for the first time at a friend's house. So seeing Rick Moranis under there was a phenomenal reveal.
I'll call Spaceballs City and notify President Scroob immediately.
I already called him, sir.
You went over my helmet?
Whenever someone displeases him, he uses a magical ring to make you think he's gonna choke a bitch, but really he's joking something else.
No, not that.
Yes, that.
Ooh. Ouch.
Pretty great, too, that the mask doesn't alter his voice. He just deepens it to sound more intimidating when it's on.
Yeah.
Hot, too hot.
What's interesting about this movie is that when Mel first conceived the idea to parody the sci-fi genre, he originally intended to focus more on lampooning the pulpy sci-fi serials that he had grown up with, stuff like the old Flash Gordon shorts, which was reflected in the movie's working title, Planet Moron. And honestly, Spaceballs would have probably had moron in its title had it not been for the release of a British comedy in 1985 called Morons from Outer Space, which even I won't threaten to play clips from.
And underneath the air shield, 10,000 years of fresh air.
Their plan is to steal all the fresh air from a planet called Druidia to save their planet, which is running out of resources due to bad leadership. Hey, it really does take place in the future.
President Scroob.
That lousy leader is President Scroob, which is almost Brooks backwards. And for absolutely no reason, I like to point out his mustache looks exactly like the frozen snot from Dumb and Dumber.
Oh my gosh, it does.
Insight.
That's incredible.
What's happened to his head?
It's on backwards.
Why didn't somebody tell me my ass was so big?
And somehow my thumbs are backwards too.
No more beaming. This time I'm gonna walk.
President Scroob.
Now, in addition to satirizing the science fiction genre, Mel also wanted to satirize American politics, of all things. Hence why so much time in Spaceballs is devoted to the President Scroob character. When he first started developing this movie, Mel told a reporter in 1984, "I always try to use a parallel in my movies. In this one, I think it'll be the US and how it is run. The Planet Moron. How people continually vote for the wrong administration to run the country."
Everybody got that?
Meanwhile,
I got it.
Druidia, Princess Vespa, played by Daphne Zuniga, is being forced to marry Prince Valiant.
I don't love him.
I'm sorry, Vespa. He's the last prince left in the galaxy.
Hey, CFS is no laughing matter. She has help from her droid of honor, Dot Matrix, played by Joan Rivers.
Here I am. I'm sorry. I had to make a pit stop. I'm so excited. I couldn't hold my oil.
Boy, she almost looks as shiny and plasticky as you know where I'm going with this.
Nice.
Wait!
I mean, honestly, they should have just had her in it, shouldn't we?
You forgot to get married!
Vespa runs away and we're introduced to our heroes Lone Star, played by Bill Pullman, and Barf, played by John Candy. They're being hassled by a gangster named Pizza the Hut, who nowadays would just be CG, but he looks pretty impressive as a practical effect.
Yeah.
Who's demanding the money he's owed.
You're gonna pay it.
Or else Pizza is gonna send out for you.
And speaking of practical effects, it's worth mentioning that there are no prosthetics on Vinny here. Those robot features were all painted on. You can even see the actor's unpainted neck when he turns his head in some shots. That actor, by the way, is Rudy DeLuca, one of Mel Brooks' go-to gag writers, who collaborated with him on the scripts for Silent Movie, High Anxiety, and Life Stinks, which I still have some clips of if you want to take a look.
No.
I'm good.
You sure? It's got Billy Barty in it.
But that's interesting to know, actually.
But continues to run away.
Will you turn that thing off? What? What is it?
I'm just doing a joke Mel Brooks will steal for himself in the future. Spaceball 1 closes it.
Sorry, sir.
Oh, I remember this joke. Yeah, I've got a lot of the smaller jokes in here, like, but this one's a good one. Everyone here is cross-eyed, and they're like, everyone's last name is like asshole or butthead, and he's just like, great, I got a room full of assholes, or a room full of buttheads.
Doing my best.
Who made that man a gunner?
He's my cousin.
Who is he?
He's an
Yeah, I'm still not sure on YouTube's policy on constant swearing, so we'll go with the TV version.
He's a moron, sir. How many morons we got in here anyway? Yo! Knew it, I'm surrounded by morons.
God, that's not as funny.
No, not even
Granted,
close.
I do love the one guy who's wondering how the hell he's not related to this group.
to Lone Star. Are you there?
Vespa's father, King Roland, played by Dick Van Patten, says he'll pay Lone Star whatever he wants to save his daughter.
Okay, we'll do it for $1 million.
$1 million?
Hey, with US inflation, that's like 2 candy bars.
Yep.
They approach Spaceball 1 in the middle of their capture
Should've
and
asked
literally
for
jam
more.
their radar.
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
This is what Superman 3 thought it was doing with Richard Pryor.
Not even close.
Lone Star!
One of the fun things about rewatching this movie is seeing all the side characters' reactions. Like, the camera hitting Lord Helmet is great, but Sanders backing up like, oh shit, is pretty priceless.
Yeah.
I'm a Mog. Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
I also just have to chime in to say that John Candy is so perfect as Barf. But as originally conceived, the Barf character had far more canine features on his face. This would have required whoever was cast in the role to hide behind heavy prosthetic makeup. But when Rick Moranis suggested his friend John Candy for the role, and he expressed interest, Mel and the studio knew that they couldn't hide Candy's expressive and bankable face behind a ton of makeup. So they redesigned Barf, making him look more human in the face. With the money they were able to save on this minimalist makeup application, they were then able to expand upon the character's other features, such as his ears and tail, which were brought to life through a series of complex animatronics, which took 4 puppeteers and a 30-pound battery to operate. So anytime you see Barf's ears move, just know that Candy was wearing a 30-pound battery on his back.
Oh my gosh. So I bet sitting in that chair has got to be a nightmare. That's... Oh. I mean, 30 pounds is not that heavy. At least I think, like, if it's, especially if it's on your back, but... Oh no, that's still got to be rough for that period of time.
This ship, I don't take orders, I give them.
Dare you speak to me that way?
Vespa and Lone Star don't seem to get along, so of course they're gonna fall in love. But she protests as she says her father's king of the Druids, so she shouldn't be rescued in such filth.
That's all we needed. A Druish princess. Funny, she doesn't look Druish.
Oh, I get it, because she's a high-ranking priestly class from ancient Celtic culture. Brooks, you scamp you!
Yeah,
prepare to attack on the count of 3. 1, 2...
Ludicrous speed!
Use hyperspeed to get away, so Helmet insists on ludicrous speed.
I don't know if the ship can take us. What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
God, I love these two. In most films, it'd be switched with Weiner as the main villain and Moranis as the dopey sidekick, but the fact that they are playing a little against type allows them to show their comedy range.
Yeah.
How many movies is gonna have Moranis in charge of an army? But at the same time, it's kind of a classic bit with the pathetic small guy who gives orders and the pathetic tall guy who carries him out. They're like thinking in the brain, neither one should be followed. Helmet passes our heroes, but it looks like they're out of gas, so they crash on a desert planet.
My things.
Take only what you need to survive.
You know, even if a joke doesn't get a big laugh, they're kind of so cute you don't care.
Really?
Vespa and Lone Star continue now.
That's the first time I've ever heard Doug say something like that, honestly. Most of the time he doesn't... I've seen him not really tolerate, like, jokes that don't work.
To get along, because this actress has to prepare for all the Christmas rom-com she's gonna be in. Oh, you think I'm kidding? As Sanders gets an idea for how to find them.
Get me the video cassette of Spaceballs the movie.
Producers, 12 chairs, blazing cells.
Obviously a Pat Prof fan.
Cassette of Spaceballs the movie. We're still in the middle of making it.
They're out in stores before the movie is finished.
We call it streaming. These are some pretty classic routines, everything from the simple but surprisingly effective laugh of speeding up the movie, to them landing on the moment they're into the phenomenal writing explaining what's going on.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.
And I'm watching them, watching them, watching them, watching them, watching them, watching them, watching them.
In infinity.
I wonder how far this can go.
Hey, don't include us in your fourth wall nonsense.
Oh! What the? Oh my gosh! You actually added the Renegades into it? Oh, that's so cool! Oh, I bet Renegades are super happy about that. Oh. Congrats, Nate. Congrats.
I'm just watching to see if Oni ever makes an appearance.
Who are y'all talking to?
Lone Star and Vespa continue not to
Okay, that was a really good bit.
like each other when suddenly they do. Yeah, even for a parody that seemed pretty fast.
I could be perfectly happy the rest of my life without love.
Sure you could.
That escalated quickly.
I don't know where you're from.
Not really. I was found on the doorstep of a monastery.
A strange medallion around his neck is the only thing left with him at his birth, and to their credit, these two do have good chemistry. Each staying on cue with their comedic roles, but also playing it like something from a romance you'd see come out that year.
I can't seem to find Druidia.
It's right there.
Oh, yeah. But it's so far away.
I love that the background here is actually a backdrop. It really adds to the atmosphere of the scene, and it shows that Mel was still committed to homaging the visual style of those 1940s sci-fi serials in some fashion.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't know Pureflix produced this.
Oh,
the next
damn.
episode beats down on him, causing them to pass out. Am I crazy, or is this one of the best head thuds a leading man has ever given?
Ooh.
You can practically hear his skull shattering, it's so convincing.
Do it again. Ow.
Small creatures known as the Dinks, though, seem disabled.
Yeah,
the Dinks were brought to life by a few different elements. While the physical versions of the characters were played by several Little People performers, such as Tony Cox of Bad Santa fame, their voices were provided by a real who's who of Saturday morning TV shows, including Tress MacNeille, John Paragon, Phil Hartman, Rob Paulson, who makes another appearance later on, and Corey
he was that guy?
who would fittingly provide a lot of voices in various Star Wars projects in the future.
Did I miss something? When did we get to Disneyland?
When Lucas was told, oh yeah, we'll do all your ideas, just sign right there. They're taken to the great and powerful yogurt.
I think we woke it up.
Oh yeah, yogurt.
Goodbye, folks. Let me know how it turns out. Come back here, Dot.
Boy, Wicked 2 does take some liberties on the Oz stories. And Brooks reveals himself in a double role.
You're hiding me.
Really, it's okay, Mel. You don't need to emphasize your short.
You're the one.
Yes, I am the keeper of a greater magic.
The Force?
No, the Schwartz.
Wow, somebody's a fan of Exorcist 3.
Go in peace, my child. May the Schwartz be with you.
He, of course, explains it's not just the Schwartz he specializes in, but also merchandising.
Yeah.
Spaceballs the T-shirt. Spaceballs
They really are at
the coloring
Disneyland, aren't they?
Spaceballs the lunchbox.
I think a later scene makes the joke for me.
It's a transformer.
So, hats? Or do I call you Mr. Off?
You can just stick with Joe.
This film seems to hold up pretty good. What are your thoughts on some critics saying it's not the best Star Wars parody?
Well, that's a complicated issue.
Really? Do explain, and keep in mind the internet has a sale on pitchforks and torches.
Look, I will always have a fondness for this movie. As a kid who loved both Star Wars and Mel Brooks movies, it really felt like a match made in heaven when I first saw this film. But when I revisit it as an adult, I can see why critics at the time took issue with it. Watching it today, I'm reminded of a story that Gene Wilder told about Mel Brooks when he first approached him to direct Young Frankenstein. He said that he made Mel promise one thing if he were to direct the movie, that he would stay behind the camera and not appear in it.
Hey, now that's not true. He was an amazing screaming cat.
Gene told Mel the following: "You have a way of breaking the fourth wall, whether you want to or not. I don't want too much winking at the audience." And I think Gene was onto something there. For instance, most of the humor in Young Frankenstein lands not just because of the dialogue, but rather in how matter-of-fact the cast delivers that dialogue.
Right.
No one in that movie was really trying to be funny. Rather, they're just all letting the material speak for itself, trusting the writing and their fellow performers. The actors play their parts just as seriously as the actors did in those classic Universal monster movies. And even visually, the movie looks really similar to the James Whale Frankenstein movies.
Yeah.
After both critical and box office acclaim, you would think that Mel would have approached his other parody movies in the same way. But in his very next film, Silent Movie, he put himself front and center, and nearly every gag in the movie ends up being exactly what Gene Wilder wished to avoid with Young Frankenstein, having so many jokes be one big wink at the audience. But this is something that Mel then only seemed to double down on with each of his movies. He not only started breaking the fourth wall more and more, but he also gave himself more to do in front of the camera. Seriously.
Do you really think so? Because, I mean, I guess I could see that. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen a Mel Brooks movie, but I've always I've always liked what he did just fine, but if you really think that...
By History of the World Part 1, he was playing 5 characters. And look, I'm not saying that those roles aren't funny. I mean, Moses dropping the extra 5 commandments is simply one of the best gags ever put to film. I just wish that Mel had adhered to the Young Frankenstein formula in more of his later work.
Well, he had to keep up, as others were taking what he started with Young Frankenstein and evolving it to new levels, like what the Zuckers and Abrams did in Airplane.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, that's a perfect example. Airplane came out a year before History of the World Part 1. Like Young Frankenstein, the humor is played straight. The dialogue, albeit silly, is delivered by the actors with the same conviction as if they were acting in a 1960s disaster drama. Right. In my opinion, this is what a parody movie should be, an exaggeration of a pre-existing style.
Correct.
Silent Movie and History of the World Part 1 don't really feel like true parodies, but rather gag movies loosely inspired by the silent comedy and historical epic genres. And Mel Brooks' style and delivery as a performer can really work in the right context. But
I agree with you. I do agree that I think they should keep that original style, and that I think like a parody movie, yeah, should definitely keep the exaggerated parts of the film that do like resonate most with the audience, like you said.
But it doesn't always belong in a parody movie, as some semblance of a fourth wall needs to be in place in this type of comedy. But by the time we get to Spaceballs, that fourth wall isn't just broken, it's obliterated. There are so many jokes throughout the movie that reference the fact that we're watching a movie.
Where the real money from the movie is made.
I turned off the wall. Hey, didn't you turn off the whole movie?
Ship is too big. If I walk, the movie will be over.
Again, I'm not saying that this style doesn't lend itself to funny gags throughout the movie, but I don't feel enough of them really parody the look, feel, or tone of Star Wars.
I don't know about that. Nobody's gonna understand Pizza the Hut without seeing Star Wars, or Dark Helmet explaining how they're not related. Hell, he actually references the Force and Star Trek.
What the hell, it works on Star Trek.
Sure, but look at the other characters. I mean, there's no Royal King in Star Wars, or a Doublemint twins, or sound effect making stormtroopers, or a bearded circus lady, or a guy in a bear suit. Sorry, Chewbacca. Even Vinny, with all of his impressive makeup, doesn't really relate to anything we see in the Jabba's palace scene in Return of the Jedi.
Fair.
I mean, he's cool to look at, but every time I see his scene, I'm just left thinking, who's he supposed to be satirizing?
I don't know.
Bib
Colossus?
Fortuna? Salacious Crumb? Max Headroom? Like, look at how something like Robot Chicken mocks exact scenes with exact characters.
Yeah.
In doing so, it manages to not only make fun of the material, but also us as the audience, and how our love of a particular movie or franchise can be so strong that it causes us to forgive certain elements that would clearly go differently in reality.
Right.
While Spaceballs is a funny comedy, for a film called The Greatest Star Wars Parody, it doesn't really directly parody Star Wars that much in my opinion. It's kind of like Mel Brooks saw his son's Star Wars action figures and decided to write the movie around that. Meaning some of the parody just feels a little surface level.
I don't know.
I guess so, but I think it hits a lot of the points home enough that, yeah, you definitely think Star Wars when you think of Spaceballs. That's what I have always thought. I mean, I do see your point, hats off, or sorry, Joe, as you wanted to be called, but I don't know, I don't really see if there's any more you could really do. Because again, I mean, I just don't know.
Oh, I see your point, but I think there's something in this movie, flaws and all, that does make it stand out compared to other Star Wars parodies.
Agreed, Doc.
Listen, no offense, but I don't know if I want to take lessons in what makes a good film parody from the guy who made Demo Reel.
You're a hurtful abstract entity.
Damn.
It is I, the god of dreams, the mopey mope that gives you your dreams. I thought if I intercept...
No, you don't, because I never sleep. Never.
Your dreams, I could tell you about something that...
Help me.
That's very dreamy. Factor. Between busy schedules and summer plans, sometimes all you have for food is a couple of minutes. No time for your dreams. Factor can help you eat smarter with tasty, chef-prepped meals that are dietitian approved and delivered right to your door. And now, with more than 65 meals made for how you live and what you like to eat, you have even more ways to fit in a real meal wherever the day takes you. Dare I say it's the stuff that dreams are made of? No, I can't. I'm going to anyways. The stuff that dreams are made of. More variety, more meals. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Support your wellness goals. Enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options, packed with protein and good for you fats. Savor global flavors. For the first time, try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. You know, I'm kind of a downer for the representation of your dreams. You need to lighten up. I should be more peppy. Eat something pink, I don't know. Or eat Factor. Because from more choices to better nutrition, 97% of customers say that Factor feel the difference no matter your routine. As the god of dreams, I can say that Factor is perfect, wonderful, quick food that is perfect, wonderful, and quick. Seriously, if you've had it, you know. Eat smart at factormeals.com/nostalgia50off and use the code nostalgia50off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code nostalgia50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid with new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. I'll see you in your dreams. With seeing how I am your dreams, I'll see you in me. Ignore that.
By the way, the fake gun thing was not because of Doug specifically, it was just because of the excessive ad. But I get it. He gets paid for this, so I'll listen.
Come watch me play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth every Friday on Twitch. We also got other content during the week, so come check us out.
Bum, bum. What?
Merchandise from here on out appears all over the movie, as well as some, let's be honest, standard Mel Brooks dad jokes.
Tell them to comb the desert, you hear me?
Or granddad jokes. Again, they work in some good bits, like Helmet's safari hat and the fact that he talks to Sanders with a bullhorn yet screams to the soldiers, defeating the purpose of it.
We were told to comb the desert, so we're combing it.
Oh, yeah.
Found anything yet?
But I will admit, this is the first Brooks movie where the pacing on his jokes can be a little off. It works fine for the most part, but when Tuvok here says his line, the timing does feel on par with, well, someone who started comedy over 70 years ago.
What about you guys? We ain't found shit.
But come on, that's a well-delivered line, though. I think that's like a... I remember that. That's like meme material right there.
Guys!
Oh, okay, I gotta think of a meme, I guess. So just like... oh, and now there's just something, I guess, random. Like... I can't... Come on, Bobby, think! Oh, it's a bit more basically like, you asked him if they found some, and he just goes...
We ain't found shit!
Do something!
Like I said before, though, a lot of this does work, even if it is childish. Like when Helmet uses the Schwartz to find Yogurt's secret entrance.
Yogurt has the Schwartz! Far too powerful.
But sir, your ring! Don't you have the Schwartz too?
No, he got the upside, I got the downside. See, there's two sides to every Schwartz.
Ah, like Spaceballs is the upside of film parody, and the downside is...
Oh, yeah,
disguises himself as King Roland, and one of the reasons it was smart for Brooks to play this as a legit fairy tale is, aside from this one reaction from Van Patten...
Would I lie?
That is so funny. The scene is mostly played straight, like it's actually supposed to be suspenseful.
Daddy?
Which makes the payoff emphasizing Helmet's immaturity so much funnier.
No, Vesper, don't! Ah! No.
Dang.
Fool you! Imagine in Sleeping Beauty after that creepy as hell hypnotizing scene.
Yeah.
Maleficent just out of nowhere goes... you! It'd be a laugh riot. Spaceballs takes the princess, so Yogurt gives Lone Star the ring of the Schwartz to help him.
Will we ever see each other again?
God willing, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2. The search for more money.
Not only have that better be the title for the next one, but it better be spelled the exact way he said it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lord Helmet talks with Vespa. Sort of.
No, please, leave me alone. No, you are mine.
I'm sure most people are aware that Moranis improvised this scene with the dolls, action figures, which just makes the bit so much better.
Oh, your helmet is so big.
Mel Brooks later admitted that Moranis actually cost the production more money because he was constantly making the crew laugh and ruining takes.
Oh.
Mel said he initially would get angry, but he soon realized he had no room to talk as he would laugh the hardest. And if you're wondering why Spaceballs action figures were never a reality, well, you can thank George Lucas for that, as one of his stipulations in giving Mel Brooks his blessing to make this movie was that there would not be any Spaceballs toys or merchandise, as he feared they would detract from the sales of Star Wars merchandise.
Weirdly kind of him, I think.
Now, George Lucas gets a lot of undeserved hate, but if there's one thing that he does deserve hate for, it's preventing us from ever getting one of our own talking yogurt dolls.
That's fair.
Schwartz be with you. What the hell is that thing?
I was gonna say, I think it was worth taking away from Star Wars for stuff like this.
No parking!
Now, another actor that Mel trusted to improvise was John Candy, who was always looking for ways to add something new to his scenes.
Yeah, well, normally Oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
An ad-lib by Candy that Mel loved so much he decided to keep in the movie. That occurred simply because John Candy had actually forgotten to unbuckle his seatbelt during the scene. It's a shame that there were these two great improvisers in the movie, and they didn't get any scenes together. I'm honestly not even sure if they saw each other on set. I wish that after Candy had been cast, that Mel had figured out a way to add at least one small interaction between Barf and Helmet, as they just played off each other so well. Something you can see in their brief scenes together in movies like Brewster's Millions and Little Shop of Horrors.
Helmet, you fiend!
Helmet threatens King Roland that if he doesn't give him the combination to the planet's air shield, he'll give Vespa back her old nose.
Where did you get that?
It's almost like a Lois Griffin nose. Or it's just like a perfect triangle along the head.
I'm only noticing now they have put down her legal first name as Princess.
So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's the stupidest combination I ever heard in my life!
I can't tell you how many people have confessed when they were younger they used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a combination after seeing this movie. It's so obvious, nobody would think of it. Yeah, Archer put it best.
Jesus Christ, that is just Babytown frolics.
Yeah.
Lone Star and Bar sneak in to save Vespa, but are surprised at her singing talents.
Nobody knows the trouble I see.
She's a bass.
One blog indicated this was satirizing Star Wars with a literal secret base. I'm pretty sure that wasn't intentional, but it is funny to think. They do it the Wilhelm scream, though.
Funny.
That is the first time I heard that yell, thinking if I was shot there, I'd make that sound too.
Yeah.
Spectacular stunt, my friends.
They trick the villains by making them chase their stunt doubles.
These are not them. You've captured their stunt doubles!
Speaking of voice actors earlier, I guess Marvin the Martian is in this. I mean, they did already have his wardrobe. And our heroes try to escape as Vespa kicks some ass after her hair gets ruined.
Not bad. Not bad for a girl.
Hey, that was pretty good for Rambo.
Don't tempt them. You know that's the next gender flip reboot.
Oh, no.
Spaceballs gets ready to alter the ship to suck.
I'm okay, fine. Actually, it would be fine. It's just, like... I don't know.
Check out the planet's atmosphere.
Preparing ship for metamorphosis, sir.
Good. Get on with it.
Ready, Kafka?
Mel actually admitted that he's ashamed of that joke, claiming, "The intellectuals hate me, and everyone else didn't know what I was talking about." Basically the complete opposite of a Happy Madison movie.
Ship changing.
Yep, it's like a giant Gundam.
It's not just a spaceship. It's a transformer.
I wish those were the Michael Bay movies we got, though. I don't know. What would the designs look like? Ugh. It transforms into a giant maid, which, man, for such a silly joke, they really put a lot of hard work into these effects. And they start to suck out all the air.
Along with all the trees.
Suck!
See, even the dialogue is like a Michael Bay Transformers movie. Lone Star uses the Schwartz, though, to send it in reverse.
She's gone from suck to blow.
I could watch that reaction on Moranis' face for a lifetime. Lone Star breaks in to destroy the ship, but Helmet is there to stop it.
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
Sounds like a twist modern Star Wars would have.
Probably.
And I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
However, did this not get good reviews? They have a pretty fun fight sequence doing just about everything you can with the idea of lightsabers. Except holding it backwards, we did that one. But helmet matches to get the ring.
Now you see that evil will always triumph. Because good
Unless you
is
really,
dumb.
really mean it.
Have I mentioned yet how insanely quotable this movie is? Yogurt telepathically tells him it was never the feather, Dumbo.
Use the Schwartz!
I can't. I lost the ring.
The Schwartz is in you, Lone Star.
Which I'm only now, years later, realizing how hilarious that sounds. And he uses it to defeat Helmet and destroy the ship.
Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pod!
I brought up music is usually a big thing in Brooks films, and I honestly think the song Spaceballs is kind of underrated.
Really? That's great to hear.
It's 80s as hell, but that's what's fun about it. It's legit catchy.
Hey, that's my escape pod! Who are you?
I'm the bearded lady. What are you, one of the freaks?
Also, I know it's a real woman who played the bearded lady, but I can't find out anywhere who dubbed her voice.
Really?
I could be crazy, but I think that's Penn Jillette. You know, like when he was doing voiceover for Comedy Central.
I'm the bearded lady. What are you, one of the freaks?
Coming up next at 12:30, catch one of your favorite episodes of Saturday Night Live.
If anyone's got
I can see that.
Info on that, leave it in the comments.
This is your last chance to push the cancellation button.
They dropped their 180s PGF bomb.
Out of order! Fuck! Even in the future, nothing works!
Also gets more relatable over the years.
Yeah.
And the ship blows up. As they return Vespa home, they find out on the news that Pizza the Hut ate himself to death so they can keep the reward money.
Coming up, Pongo's review of Rocky 5,000.
Boy, this and the sequel to Airplane are bizarrely two sci-fi futuristic 80s parodies that bizarrely predicted that franchise. Lone Star decides not to take the money though and leaves Vespa to marry her prince, thinking he doesn't belong in that world. They later drop by a space diner. Yeah, I like this world bizarrely feels like you can live in it despite it being a parody. Oh, and did I mention ILM did the effects? One of the patrons isn't feeling too good.
Oh, no.
Alien.
Not again.
I probably should stop surrounding myself with such familiar company. In terms of story, this is a scene you could cut and honestly miss nothing, but then again, can you really call this nothing?
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Again, for as hugely silly as this movie is, the genuine, subtle, believable reactions from the actors makes these moments instantly funny.
Yeah.
Check, please.
Yogurt reveals to Lone Star that his medallion is actually a royal birth certificate and he's actually a prince. His parents and kingdom being... which means he can go marry the princess.
Princess Vespa and Princess Valium. I'm sorry, it's the hair.
That's another one of Mel's writers, Ronnie Graham, who actually worked on the script for this movie. And he would later appear in another Mel Brooks movie. I forget the name.
Who the hell are you? Prince Lone.
Well, that's interesting, ain't it?
Star.
When Lone Star interrupts saying he's a prince, they of course hook up and live happily ever after. And I do mean everybody, even Chewie got his medal this time.
Hey.
And that was Spaceballs. Sure, not every joke works, and the timing can be a little off here and there, but I still really enjoy it.
Me too. Even if I do have trouble calling it the best Star Wars parody.
Ah, geez, this again?
Again, don't get me wrong. There's still a ton of stuff that I love about this movie. There's so many great little moments throughout it.
Right.
Like when Yogurt takes a shot at the over-commercialization of Star Wars, or when Helmet gets embarrassed when his crash is played back on the TV, and virtually everything John Candy does in this movie. And even the supporting characters are great, like Colonel Sanders, someone most people would write off as a forgettable side character, who really enhances a lot of the scenes that he's in. When it comes to direct parody, though, I find it ironic that the Zucker brothers and Jim Abrams were inspired by Mel Brooks when making Airplane, and afterwards, Brooks was clearly inspired by those guys to make movies like Spaceballs. In my opinion, though, Zaz, as they're called, had a much better handle on what makes an effective parody. They knew the closer that they stuck to their inspiration, the funnier the movie would be. Even if they did basically copy a pre-existing screenplay verbatim and just added in jokes for Airplane. Seriously, their script was such a direct copy of an earlier movie called 0 Hour that they had to acquire the rights to that movie to avoid being sued. But in Airplane, the timing and the structure of the jokes Even the placement of the sight gags in the backgrounds and foregrounds just makes for more laughs.
I mean, I can't totally disagree.
I mean, the characters in Spaceballs are great on their own, but I don't think they really effectively parody Star Wars characters.
Well, maybe you just stated the reason it could be seen that way.
Oh boy, here we go. Cue Nostalgia Critic's speech where you summarize everything bad about the movie, but still manage to tie it up in a nice bow.
And sappy music. With the characters,
Yay!
imagine how lovable they are on their own.
Hey, we wouldn't have it any other way, right?
Whether they're in a parody film or not. And that's because they can exist outside the world of parody. Topper Harley can't exist outside the genre of being satirized because he's an archetype, and that's fine. But these characters can. You can put them in any situation and have an idea of how they're gonna react because they are more fleshed out. The same way comedic actors play their parts believably in a classic horror genre like Young Frankenstein to get laughs, the same way these actors play their parts seriously in a sci-fi fairy tale genre to get laughs. Part of that could be because Brooks is taking from the same source material Star Wars took from, myths and fairy tales, which have stood the test of time for several centuries. And because they both understood and conveyed these tropes so well, they both give us characters that seem more alive and timeless. So yes, it may not be the best direct parody, but it seems to evolve beyond that, giving us characters we could see ourselves having a conversation with or predict how they would react in any situation. It's like saying Princess Bride is the best satire of fairy tales. Is it a direct lampooning of certain tropes and stories? Not really, but it creates a world and characters that evolve from satire.
Yeah.
I guess in some way this is sort of a Princess Bride in space, just with a lot of dick jokes and fourth wall humor. And you could argue films like this did give birth to similar parodies with characters that could exist outside that world. And while yes, there's probably too many dick jokes and fourth wall humor and satire that isn't as biting or focused, it still creates a world and characters that, like Star Wars, we're always going to remember.
I see your point. I guess for my money, I just prefer something like Young Frankenstein, where the parody is more direct.
Well then, we must battle it out to see whose opinion is right!
No, I'm good.
Well, you don't know how those crossovers work, do you?
Guess not.
Well, regardless, thank you for all the info and insight. You brought up some really good points.
No problem. I guess I'll go do some Schwartzko stuff or whatever I was supposed to be again.
Oh yeah. Bye,
I'm a
hats off.
Nostalgia Critic, still trying to figure out how to make Spaceballs Day a thing. May the 14th? No. May the 20 Schwartz. No.
May the Schwartz be with you.
No, I don't know how
We're still doing cameos for charity, but I'm gonna switch things up a little bit. As many of you are probably aware, I got chronic fatigue syndrome about a year and a half ago. It's still with me, and while it's not nearly as bad as what other people have, there's still very little known about it, not much research or anything, and it probably goes without saying it's really spiked after COVID. So rather than change up the charities every month, I think I'm just gonna give the money to one charity, Solve MECFS. There are so many people suffering greatly from this, and like I've said in the past, I'm not suffering nearly as bad as so many people out there, yet it's still getting in the way of how I live my usual life. So I can't even imagine what so many other people must be going through and the toll it must be taking on them. So if you want a video of me saying happy birthday or congrats, good luck or whatever, click on the link below. I'll be giving to a good cause. If you're like, no, your face is a butt and I don't like you, well, consider giving to this wonderful organization anyway. Like I said, there's a lot of people suffering from this and we don't really know the reason why, so maybe we can all come together and help them help many more.
Alright. Yeah. Well, I do gotta say that hats off, and Doug did make some really good points about Spaceballs. Honestly, I think I'm more on Doug's side with this one, just because I do think the movie does focus enough on Star Wars that I do think you can consider it a very good parody of... Well, again, the point was not to... If it was a parody, it was just, was it the best parody? Honestly, okay, my mic turned back on, but of course it has to be when I... Look, doesn't matter. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed... I was just gonna say, my personal opinion is that I think that this is the best parody of Star Wars. I do think... I could see why Hats Off would want something that definitely focuses more on Star Wars, but I think it focuses plenty, allowing with a lot of random stuff in it to add some flavorfulness to it. I do think it is a very good film in general. A very... a very hilarious film with a lot of good jokes about it. It's definitely like Doug said, the upside of what the disaster movies should have been, but unfortunately aren't. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction regardless. Be sure to like and subscribe, check out my other videos, support Channel Awesome, support Hats Off Entertainment. And with that being said, I'll see you all next time. Bye!